speaking of Tim Walz, we have his reaction to all of this fraud. Now, initially, I was gonna play a clip from last summer because, like we said in the beginning, like this has been going on for a couple years. Like this is all the coming out of like the COVID relief funds, like all of the COVID relief pandemic programs that they had for like feeding homeless and like feeding the starving, all of those relief programs. This has been going on for like the last 5 years. So he has a lot of clips, but this is the most recent response he has to Nick Shirley's expose. Let's take a look.
This is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy when you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white. So I would fully expect, and we are preparing for, an influx of more agents, more of the very visible public theatrics of the raids, of the harassments, and you got faith leaders here. I would not put it past this administration to target midnight mass services amongst folks going to worship, because that's who they are.
Good.
So he's just basically doubling down and taking no accountability. Andre, what did you think about that?
Yeah, good. Go and snatch these people up. I don't really care about their worship. I care about Christians, right? I care about people who are of our faith, right? As long as they're compatible with my country. I don't want these people here. You know, they're not from. Listen, there's no reason to keep these people here. Muslims, all snatch them up. I don't really give a damn. We're tired of playing this game. I'm tired of this. Well, we got a loophole. We'll just run in the church, and now you can't get us. We can't play tag anymore. Get the fuck out of here. We're done with that shit. We're done with it. We're not going to do that anymore. But yeah, he's going on about this white supremacy stuff, and I'm glad he isn't the vice president, honestly. I don't like JD Vance. I can't stand JD Vance, and I'm extremely pissed off at the first year of the Trump administration, but I'm glad that he's not the vice president because he's a pushover. This is what white men are today, especially older white men, pushovers. They're so much of a pushover. They've allowed this to happen in their country instead of saying, you know, this is disgusting. This is terrible. Because I want you to think of this. If we had found out some, let's say, some Hungarians they started an enclave in, I don't know, Nebraska, and they're extremely, let's say, Catholic. Let's say they're Catholic aligned, and they were doing the same thing the Somalians were doing. He'll be like, these people are white supremacists. We have to get them out. We should deport them. He would be doing that in a second. But because they're brown, and because he wants those brownie points for, you know, re-election for certain people in his administration and so on within the state, he's going to play nice with them. Fuck that. Get these people out. We're tired of sitting back and trying to hug these people and, oh, we'll be nice to you if you. No. We're done with that. We've been too nice, and this is what we get in return.
Yeah, no, I mean, you touched on a great point. There was a New York Times article that came out last year in 2025, and it was basically exposing this whole feeding our future fraud. And, you know, Feed Our Future, the nonprofit group that was the largest provider of the pandemic program, responded with a warning in an email to group and told the state agency that was looking into this fraud that failing to promptly approve new applicants from minority-owned businesses would result in a lawsuit featuring accusations of racism that would be sprawled out across the news. So what these migrant fraudsters are doing, they're coming to this country, they're creating enclaves, they're creating powerful voting blocks. I think the Somalian voting block is like 80,000 constituents in the state of Minnesota. And then they're basically embezzling the federal income tax through these grants and these grant programs. And when state elected officials are trying to make policy and vote against what's going on, and when state agencies are trying to audit these people and put more vetting on these people because there's flags going up about fraud, they then go in and threaten them with litigation. It's crazy. Carmen, what do you think?
I think that this goes back to the Black community. I think that Black people like to be on everyone's side, and they don't realize that the left is just using them, right? And the left uses Black people because, like, Black people do this, right? You criticize Black people, they cry racism. And now Somalis are like, well, I'm brown. you know, and then everyone called this country a white supremacist country. They all come in this country hating white people. That's what all of these minority groups have in common. They all hate white people for some reason, but they move to a majority white country, which makes zero sense. So I think that Black people set the foundation for this, and this is why Black people need to wake up to, like, them being used for everyone. Everybody gets a piece of what Black people should have for themselves, and the Somalis are a prime example of that. They're, like, racist, right? That's all they have to do, and that's why these, when Charlie Kirk even was talking about the Civil Rights Act, he was like, "It should have been a page," because guess what? Now everybody is using that as a way to say they're being discriminated against, right? And this was a issue for Black Americans, right? I don't want to say foundational Black Americans, but Black American heritage Black Americans is what I would say. This is an issue that we have been dealing with, but we don't take politics serious, right? So they'll continue to be able to use things like, oh, discrimination to say that, they're basically discriminating against these Somalis, and it's just untrue. They're just inbreds and they're pirates. That's what's happening here. And we
Yeah.
let them in the freaking country. That is what's happening.
Right. I mean, so there is a difference between like a West African who comes here and maybe a white person won't know whether they're African American or West African, even though I think you can kind of pick out an African like out of a crowd. But then like these Somalian niggas, like they don't look African American at all. Like I don't even know what classification of Black these niggas really are. And there's no way that you are mistaking a Somalian for an African American. Like you know that nigga's Somalian. Like you said, like they're inbred and you can tell. And so, and I don't even think that they consider themselves Black, like unless they're trying to use the race card. I think they consider themselves Arab because I know they speak Arabic. So it's like they have to, these enclaves of migrants, and also you see this in the LGBTQ community too, they have to resort to racism in order to legitimize like whatever they got going on. So people could be reacting to them for a lot of different reasons, because they're dirty, because they come and they don't respect like the cultural norms or the American mannerisms. But if somebody calls them out on that, like say, frauding the federal taxpayers over $9 billion, I think it's the official number, which is insane. Tim Walz says that is inflated. But rather than just taking accountability for that, they cry racism in order to legitimize like their vulnerable victimhood narrative. What do you think, Andre?
Yeah, this is what we get. The Civil Rights Act was, of course, not in the interest of Blacks. It was mainly in the interest of Jews. The entire civil rights movement was funded by Jews. 50% of the lawyers were Jews, 75% of the funding. And look what we got. We got a bunch of people who are now going to, use this playbook that we thought was for us. Like, oh, this is for us. And it really wasn't to our benefit. In some cases it was, but not entirely. And they're coming over and they're profiting. I mean, if niggas were smart, they would do the same thing the Somalis are doing, just in a more, in a better way, right? We're going to benefit, the country's going to benefit. But no, we've got people. I would rather much have niggas doing this than having Somalians doing it. If niggas were smart, and we found out that some niggas in Somalia, like some old block and from the east side of Detroit, there was some people from Compton came together. It's like, hey, listen, nigga, we about to, get these daycares and shit. You know what I'm saying? I would have been like, them niggas is genius. I think I stopped making videos for a week. If the niggas did that shit, I would have to praise them. But no, we got Somalians doing it because yes, they've used the playbook of the civil rights movement. They'll sit back and cry racism the moment they get caught, or the moment that someone is, starting to start an investigation. They'll use that to get out of the trouble. And this is the problem that we have in America. And we can't. This should happen again, but we're going to find out that more people are doing it. The Arab community do this a lot. We're finding the Indians are doing this with gas stations in Texas, with small business loans. So
and 7-Elevens.
Yeah, with 7-Eleven, we know them motherfuckers was always doing some shady shit with them 7-Elevens. When they weren't just in there because they in there too calm with dealing with nigga shit. Not to be scamming and shit. Anybody else, white, Black, we wouldn't. Fuck this, we done. I'm shutting this shit down. Indians, they take everything because they get lots of money from it. Why not? You'll take something. You'll deal with anything if you're getting paid for it. Just a fact.
Yeah, it's interesting, like how these other groups of people, like these immigrants, can come over here. They can organize. They can have each other's backs. They can collectively scam $9 billion from the federal government. But Black people have been on welfare for how long, and they still haven't figured out how to create a voting block.
Right. Right. Niggas are
So-
smart. They do what the Somalis are doing, but nope.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching our video. If you like what you saw there, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can stay updated with our future content. It really helps our channel grow, and we appreciate all the support.